Let me begin with a question. What is the most powerful, widely used, sophisticated communication tool for all human beings? It's our voice. We use voice wherever we go. And we, as humans, go everywhere. So voice is indeed everywhere. When we talk to people, it's quite natural to use our voice. But when it comes to interacting with machines, we're still forced to use the tools that technology has enabled us, right? It's always a bit frustrating, the kind of things that we have been forced to use. Does anyone remember this beautiful device? What is that? Well, yeah, it's a BlackBerry Curve 8900 that I used 14 years ago. And those were the times when I couldn't live without this device, right? So I could do emails on this. I had notifications with my calendar. It was a decent internet communication device. And most importantly, it had the physical keyboard. I think that was the biggest thing. And this particular device even had a scroll wheel. So somebody put a mouse in there that you could interact with the device. This was a time when people were basically using their thumbs, right? So thumbing all their way at work. And then the world changed in 2007 when Steve Jobs went on stage and announced 3 devices, right? So a phone, a music player, and an internet communication device all in one, so the iPhone. The iPhone started with this whole generation of touch-enabled devices. And of course, touch has its own better user experience, but let's be honest, texting is still very clumsy with touch. Think of those damn autocorrect moments that you have every day. And that is when slowly voice assistants started to get popular with the launch of Siri in 2011. But all be familiar with Alexa's and Google Assistants and even Deutsche Telekom's own Magenta Assistant that helps millions of people in their everyday life with interacting with, playing music on speakers or interacting with your TV or with your smart home devices. So it's really becoming a part of your everyday life. Now, coming back to that BlackBerry story, there was a time when enterprise IT wouldn't let anything apart from a BlackBerry in a corporate network, right? But when the iPhones were becoming more popular, Apple didn't fight enterprise IT, but rather it was the business users who started to say that this is a device which they do use in their everyday life. Why can't I bring it to my work? And that's exactly what is happening with voice today, right? And that is the reason why businesses need to act now. I truly believe that consumer behavior will drive enterprise adoption, and we will see this definitely with voice. My name is Raghu. I'm the innovation lead for Magenta Voice program at Deutsche Telekom, and together with Eduardo, the CEO of our partner Veridas, I would like to talk about something that we have created around the built-in device-agnostic communication device that we all have with us, which is our own voice. Now, before we go into the details, I have to impress you with some numbers, right? After all, this is a sales pitch, right? So there are 76% of organizations that today say they realize quantifiable benefits with their voice initiatives. And 70% of respondents in a Salesforce research say that voice assistants are going to be revolutionary. It's going to be as big and play as big as a role as the smartphones today in our life. But 90% are really wary of the privacy concerns and the security concerns with voice AI in general. But most importantly, 3 out of 4 CIOs today are saying that they are preparing for a voice-first initiatives. By the way, these are not made-up numbers. They're all legit research. So voice is indeed a paradigm shift, right? So it's going to be a game changer. But voice needs to be done right. You need to pay utmost care and respect to the concerns of the privacy and security concerns from the end users. So if you're not doing anything with voicification today, you need to go and find a strong partner and jump on the voicification train right now. But here's the good news. For starting with voice initiatives, you don't need to be an Apple or Google or Amazon or the big techs. All you need is find a very strong partner who knows about voice, who's got voice in their DNAs. Someone like us, Deutsche Telekom, who's been doing things with voice for a very long time. So let me introduce to you something that we have created, which is the Telekom Voicification Suite. Now, voice is a very arbitrarily complex domain. The kind of use cases that you could imagine to voice enable are just endless. And then what matters is, does it help your end users? Is it going to make their lives better? And we went through the painful journey ourselves of building an own voice AI and an own voice platform with our Magenta voice assistant. And we distill all of this learning, all of those experiences into what we call as the Telecom Voicification Suite so that you don't have to go through those pain yourself. And we see 4 key benefits of deploying voice AI for enterprises. The first one, is all around increased productivity. So your customers, it could be your employees, it could be your business consumers, they can become more effective. The second thing is high user satisfaction. When people can get things done using voice, which is the most natural interface, of course, you get happy, active users. And all of this leads to cost savings in time as well as money, not just for you, but also your end users. And the fourth benefit is security. Voice biometric can really make access friction-free. And with Telecom Voicification Suite, you can voicify any UI, so a user interface to make it more better in terms of the user experience. And we call it conversational user experience. You can voicify any process. You can make it hands-free. You can voicify any device. It doesn't need to be a smart speaker. It can be a mobile device. It can be a laptop. It can be any custom hardware. And finally, you can also voicify access. Systems which are protected with security, where we can make it really easier. And access is something that we will deep dive today into. Now, think of your users as obstacle course runners. Every day, they are interacting with your systems and information and services and data, and you're putting all these hurdles in front of them with logins and usernames and password recovery questions. What's your mother's maiden name, your favorite pet, all of those kind of things, which basically slow them down in getting to what they need. Now, with voice biometrics, you can basically remove all of those obstacles, right? So you can remove them so that your users become sprinters, and they can all become Usain Bolts. So your voice indeed becomes your signature. And when we are looking to add voice biometrics to the Telecom Voicification Suite, we were looking for a very capable partner who could match the highest standards of privacy and data protection we have in our platform without compromising the customer experience. And that is how we eventually found and partnered with Veridas to bring voice biometrics to our platform. So, Eduardo, here you go.
Thanks a lot, Regu. I fully agree with you. Voice is not a trend, it's a paradigm shift. It's a trial paradigm shift. But Regu, we have a problem, and we all have a problem, because the internet was born without an identity layer. Only the devices have identity. They have their IP addresses, and they can easily be faked. But what's the point of having our voice or doing an operation with Magenta or in an app without knowing who is at the other side, without knowing who is really at the other side of the app or the voice line? So if you want a real digital transformation, you need to know who is behind. So identity and certainty over the identity is the key for a real, true digital transformation. I'm Eduardo Azanza, CEO of Veridas. Thank you very much for Deutsche Telekom and Regu for the invitation and for the amazing partnership that we're building. We at Veridas have a mission. We were born with one mission: providing this identity layer to the internet. We are currently leading the ID and biometry industry with our own proprietary solutions on ID verification, face biometrics, and voice biometrics. Our solutions are currently deployed globally, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, in different industries, providing onboarding of new customers seamlessly and authentication and services of identity very easily. In telecommunications, in banking, hospitality services, public administrations, and mobility. So our technologies are evaluated by the NIST in the USA. We are top ranked by them. And we have a clear focus on privacy. Privacy is key. It's at the core of our business. And this privacy was one of the main drivers why Deutsche Telekom chose us as partner. We don't store any single data from the customers, nor we use the data from customers to train our systems. I repeat, we do not store any customer data. That allows us to comply with the highest privacy standards around the world. GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California. And that's why our systems are currently being used to authenticate customers in solutions such as PSD2 payments, to comply with regulations, electronic signature, complying with eIDAS in Europe. So privacy is absolutely key. There is another thing, the user experience. We all are digital people. We want to have a seamless experience when we are interacting with a digital solution. So the user experience is also very important. Let me illustrate this with this real case that happened to me just last week. It comes handy for this presentation. I was completing a payment, and I received an SMS message from my bank telling me, please add positions 2 and 2 of your purchase card PIN, then add the number to 112, and then the final result in the purchase screen. I don't know how to call this. I would call it the payment maze or the payment nightmare. But clearly, this was not thought from the customer point of view. We want to have the best security and the best user experience. And this is precisely where our voice biometrics kicks in. Our technology can provide authentication in just 3 seconds, independently on the text that you say, independently on the language that you speak. So maybe you can check now. I don't know if they're sharing my screen of my mobile device. We have implemented our solution into a chatbot. So independently of what I say, in any language, in just 3 seconds, I'm authenticated. So I'm sending this to the cloud. So the system is saying, this is Eduardo, 98%.
Here's a little secret. Even though we have been working with Veridas for a couple of years now, today is the first time that I'm meeting Eduardo face-to-face. And thanks to voice biometrics, now I can say that this is indeed Eduardo.
Die Deutsche Fußballmannschaft is the best der Welt. And it's true. It's myself. It's my identity in German. Okay? And maybe it's true or not. We'll see in the next championship. So we can go back to the presentation, but you see the seamless experience. 3 seconds, text independent, language independent, 99.9 accuracy for verification, 150 milliseconds of cloud processing, and we have pre-recorded anti-spoofing detection. So we can detect if somebody is injecting a pre-recorded audio. With these solutions, now you can. What can you now? We can implement this magic triangle of security, user experience, and cost reduction. Until Veridas Biometrics, any security improvement was at the cost of user experience or was an increasing cost. Not anymore. Not anymore. With this solution of voice biometrics, Deutsche Telekom and your customers can increase their security, improve the user experience, and optimize their cost. Let me illustrate this in 2 real cases that are already in operation that you are going to see how we can implement this. First one, BBVA Mexico, the largest bank in Mexico, allows its pensioners customers to get this pension just by voice. So far, pensioners did have to go presentially to the branch, say, here, I'm alive, I'm this person, to get my pension. Once every month. You can imagine the hassle, precisely now with COVID, having to do this presentially. We have implemented with a huge success the voice biometric system to get the pensions. Now with an automatic phone call, the pensioner can say whatever they want, in any language, is automatically recognized and gets his pension. So here we are having a huge improvement in user experience, huge engagement from their customers, a huge reduction in cost. You can estimate that you have 15 minutes of presential attention in the branch per every authentication, per every pensioner, every month. This is huge savings for the bank. And security, no fraud. We can guarantee that the person is the one that he's claiming he is. The person in the branch is not an expert. So we have here the magic triangle implemented. Very clear case, and also with very good social purpose now. Last but not least, big utility European company. They are having a lot of complaints about the bills. You can imagine this summer, the prices of energy is skyrocketing. They are having 500,000 phone calls per month to clarify aspects of that bill. This, you have angry customers calling to know about their bills. Those angry customers had to suffer a 3-step identification process. So the angriness gets higher and higher. So now with the voice biometrics, the identification is transparent. So you are reducing the angriness, the stress, the customer is better. The company is reducing their cost, an average of 40 seconds per phone call. You can imagine 500,000 a month times 40 seconds. This is a huge return on investment. I would say immediate. I would say this is almost an NGO system.
Sure.
And we have an increased security, 55% increase in correctly identified calls. We could illustrate more and more examples. Healthcare, industry, security, traceability in pharma industry. Plenty of cases that now you can use directly from the Telekom voicification suite, either in the call center or either going directly to the API. So, fully agree, Regu. We are in a paradigm shift. Thanks a lot.
So, thank you, Eduardo. So you heard from Eduardo about how we have integrated voice biometrics into the Telecom voicification suite. And like I said, Telecom voicification suite helps you with voicifying any UI, any device, any process, and access. And if you want to know more about these functions that we have on Telecom voicification suite, as well as voice biometrics, then please check out the workshop and the deep dive that we have tomorrow at 3 o'clock, where we can talk more about the details of all of these solutions. And most importantly, keep in mind that we understand that you need to be in control of your customer, the customer experience, and your data. And when it comes to that, Telecom voicification suite is your answer. So if you want to be on the voicification train with Telecom voicification suite, check out voice.telecom.com. Thank you.